Hey everybody, welcome to Around the Twist, episode 346. Today is October 14th, 2018. I didn't even post anything last week saying I wasn't going to record. I don't even remember what I did last week that I didn't record on Sunday. For whatever reason, I didn't. I planned to record on Monday like I'd done prior, and it just didn't happen. So 2 weeks have gone by. Here I am. You get me on a snow day. It's Sunday, and we woke up to 5 or 6 inches of fresh snow. Welcome to Colorado. So let's start off. I only have one active thing on my needles this week, and that is the stained glass blanket take 2. It's the Juggling Hexes pattern by Wendy Harbaugh. I'm using leftover scraps from Blue Moon Fiber Art Socks That Rock, both in lightweight and medium weight, just whatever I had left, plus things that people have sent me, that my mom's given me. That is the completely wrong bag. Not together. It's this bag. It's riding around in my TARDIS yarn cabinet bag. So I'm using Blue Moon Fiber Art Socks That Rock for the centers, and then the black, the edging, is the Solid series from the Loopy U in black. That's 100% superwash merino fingering weight. It's a 2-ounce put-up, so a little over 200 yards in a skein. I need to gather all my black together and see how much I have, because right now I'm about a third-ish of the way through the blanket, and I need to assess the situation and see where I'm at with the black, because I don't think they have this. I haven't seen black there in quite a while, and I'm going to have to go and look. And if not, I'm going to be contacting people on Ravelry that have this yarn in their stash that is not listed for sale or trade, and I'm going to be begging for more. We'll see how far I can get, but I don't know how much I have left, so that's a problem. I need to assess that. I've been using an F-hook. Get that out. Just a little Susan Bates F-hook 3.75 millimeter hook. Let's see if... There. Oh, beautiful. Just a Susan Bates. Now, my friend Sarah, wonderful, wonderful person that she is, she's leaving on Saturday and going back to Minnesota. I'm very sad. She's been out here 6 months helping us through, being our little live-in nanny, and she needed another project, so she grabbed my scraps bag and one of the hexagon centers, one of these, so she could see what my gauge was compared to her gauge. She ended up she went up to a G hook to get the same size, and so she's been just churning out centers with all of the scraps that I have left. So my job has just been using the black and joining all these centers on. Now, unfortunately, the last time I recorded, I didn't take notes. Bad Karen, no cookie. So I can't remember how many centers I had joined. I know it was over 100. I don't know how many it was, but I am current count 121 centers joined. I'm a little over a third of the way there. It is no longer a hexagon shape. It is a trapezoid, because let me make sure I got this. There we go. I squared off 2 of the corners, 2 of the sides. So there you go. There's the whole thing of the hexagon, and that's as wide, I think, as of right now, this width here, which I believe it's a little more than my wingspan, but that's as wide as I'm going to make it. I laid it on top of the deer blanket, the quilt, my husband's quilt that has a deer fabric in it. We call it the deer blanket. And it is just shy. Obviously, this is unblocked, so it will relax a little more. But from corner to corner that I just squared off, it's just shy. I mean, we're talking like 2 inches shy of the width of the deer blanket. So now I'm going to take, so you can see how this slopes down, and I'm going to start filling in this to make on either side, basically do triangles to make this trapezoid into a rectangle. So I'm trying to remember which side. This side, I think I had finished this corner the last time, if I remember right. I had finished this. If not, here you go, because I don't remember which ones I did. And I know for sure I had not done this corner, so I added like 20, I think, 9, well, at least 15 centers on this side. So all of these, I think from here, so like Christmas balls, I think this one is Storm Large, one of the blues, I don't know, this one is insane hot pink one is Rockstar. That was some monkeys I did years ago. I don't know about this one because that was one of my mom's. This is Peridot and Periwinkle, another blue from my sister-in-law's shawl. Muddy Autumn Rainbow, I think this is KMBFLA. I don't know what this one either. Or this one. I think this one is My Blue Heaven, if I'm right. Stumptown Brown. This is from my friend Sarah's socks that I called Matta's March Hare. I can't remember. It was some Alice in Wonderland themed one. And then this one is Pixie Park. So I did at least all of those in the last couple weeks. It's gotten so much bigger. It's actually lap throw sized-ish now. So I've been using it while I'm sitting down here in the basement because my leggings are not quite keeping me warm. And that's the main thing I've been working on. I haven't touched Tara's sweater. I have been working on one other thing. However, it is an FO of the week. So let's move to that. My coffee is B52 this week, I believe. It's either B52 or White Russian. I don't know. Sarah ground it, and I've just been drinking it, and it's yummy and delicious. It's one of the two. So, the other thing, and I need to grab this and grab this because I'm not prepared, is the Fallen Leaves socks are done. I finished them a couple days ago. These are going to actually, I had put down in my Ravelry notes that these were going to be for me. They are not going to be for me. They're going to be for my wonderful boss. Why does that sound like there's something inside there? Because there might be. I'll have to dig in the toe of that sock because something's... Hear that? I think there's something in there. I'm going to fish it out right now before I forget. What is in the toe of this sock? A stitch marker. Awesome. Glad I heard that. Oh, stitch markers everywhere. Better to have too many than not enough though, right? So the pattern, such as it is on these socks, is just my 72 stitch top down vanilla socks with a heel flap. The yarn is from Gail's Art. It is her special secret sock blank, the single sock blank, which is a 75-25 superwash merino and nylon. The colorway is called The Fallen. And this little thing. Why is it not focusing? There we go. This little bit, maybe 6 inches worth of, yeah, about 6 inches. Is all that's left of the sock blank because I was making these for me, but then I was like, wait, I bet, you know what, my boss has been having some tough times lately. I mean, things and stuff that I'm not going to go into because it's her life, not mine. But who couldn't use a nice warm pair of socks? So I had her try them on. I one day very, surreptitiously, okay, I'm going to ask you a question, and you can't ask me why I'm asking it. And she's like, okay, go ahead, fire away. And I said, what size shoes do you wear? And she goes, a 9. And I went, thank you, and ducked back out of her office, which I'm sure completely baffled her. And then I finished the first of the socks, which was this one. And she'd been watching me knit on them in morning meeting and said, here, pleased to be trying on. And she sat down and tried it on. And I said, does it fit? And she said, yes. And I said, great, this pair of socks is for you. So, second sock. Finished, and they kind of match. This one has a little more of the green. There's a bit at the toe of the first one. Obviously they run into one another, but they are done. Finished. I started them August 3rd, finished them October 11th. I think they took me so long because I've been working on other stuff and wasn't really paying attention to this. I'd originally just grabbed the sock blank when I ran out of my last sock or my last thing that I could knit, and I needed something to knit and didn't have time to wind any yarn, so I wasn't really super into them, but I love how these turned out. They're almost like tequila sunrise colors, aren't they? Kind of. They're very pretty and very fall-y, and hopefully she likes them. The only thing I have left to do is wash them and leave them out to block dry. I have woven in all the ends, so those are ready to go. So, yay. Finished. I knit them up on a US 1, a 2.25 millimeter needle, and those have been riding around with me for a while. So, finished them 3 days ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, somewhere in there. So moving on, there's my FO. I have another FO, but it falls under Pokey Things. Last weekend, I finally sat down and sewed my exploding TARDIS scrub top. So the fabric is discontinued. I had to hunt through Joann's, which my local Joann's didn't have the fabric, but it was showing online that several of the Joann's that are down in Denver and the various suburbs of Denver had some, so they ordered it up from that location to here, the 2 yards that I needed. I've got my TARDIS scrub top. It's been worn. People love it. They either think that it's Van Gogh, which it sort of is. I did have people recognize that it was Doctor Who, though, and that just made my geeky little heart sing, so I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I'm finally starting to get this right here, where the neckline comes together. This is my 4th scrub top. 4th? Yeah, 4th scrub top that I've sewn. I managed to screw up the neckline at some point or another. This one's still not perfect. Here, let me show you the inside. So where the little point comes down into a V, it's like, oh, it's a wrinkly mess and mangled and everything, but no one's looking down my shirt, or at least they better not be. So it looks awful from the inside, but the outside, at least all the bits are in place. And I sewed straight across that triangle a little wonky. It's slightly crooked, but again, no one's looking that closely at it. Second thing for Pokey Things, Tara's Princess in Black costume for Halloween is back there. It's in the craft room. It's still 4 pieces of fabric, but the pattern itself is cut out, ready to go. When I'm done here and this is uploading, I'm gonna pin the pattern to the fabric, hopefully get the fabric cut out, and we'll go from there. I'm basically modifying a Snow White outfit, a Snow White pattern. I think it's from Simplicity, which, let me show you a picture of the Princess in Black. So if you haven't heard of it, The Princess in Black is a book series by, oh, come on, scroll for me. There we go. By Shannon and Dean Hale. And it's about a princess who changes into a superhero called the Princess in Black and saves her kingdom from monsters coming up from Monsterland. Well, this is who Tara wants to be for Halloween. So, mommy to the rescue, because there are no Princess in Black costumes available at Target or Walmart or anywhere else. So I'm going to make one for her. It's not going to be exact, but it'll be close enough, and she can use it for dress up, and we'll go from there. But I've got 2 weeks. Need to get my button gear before, well, 2.5 weeks before Halloween, and I usually don't sew during the week. It's only on the weekends, so there's a zipper. I have to install a zipper. I have a zipper presser foot on my machine, for my machine, so it should be okay, I hope. God, I hope. And like I said, moving on, various and sundry, we are having a snow day. The kids went outside and played in about the 5-6 inches of snow that we got. That's why we have a little more light coming in today, because it's actually daylight hours. And the sun has finally come out and is reflecting off the snow, so making nice and lighter than it usually is down here. I'm going to do, because we have a little bit of time, let's do a couple of any questions, or at least one. First one is from Sampras, who is Sarah from Canada. Hi. Hi, Karen. Love the podcast. Thank you for all the years of podcasting goodness. You're welcome. Do you do anything to protect your stash from wool-eating bugs like clothes moths? I see a lot of podcasters with their yarn like yours beautifully displayed in cabinets. I'd love to have something like that someday. For now, I'm keeping all my yarn in Ziploc bags to protect them from the bugs. So, Sarah, short answer, no, I don't do anything. I pretty regularly, I'd say at least once every couple months, come down and kind of do a stash toss. Just usually when I'm looking for a particular skein of yarn, it just kind of organically happens. Everything comes off the shelves and gets thrown out on the floor, and I can kind of look it over and inspect it. We really don't have a very large bug problem. We have a spider problem, so I shouldn't say that. It's not really a problem. We have spiders in the basement, but they haven't taken to munching on any of my yarn, so yay. I haven't really seen too many other bugs, probably because the spiders eat them, which is good. We can, symbiotic relationship. You eat the bugs, stay away from me. If you come out where I can see you, you get squished. That's how it works. So really, I don't do a whole lot besides doing a visual inspection every so often. I'm tend to be a little more cautious about bringing stuff in. That and I'm lazy. So most of like my new purchases stay in the bag from the shop outside of the cabinets until, you know, the next stash toss happens. I'm like, oh yeah, I should put that away or knit with it. And then it gets put in the cupboards along with the rest of the stash. Yeah, that's really all that I do. I'm sorry, I'm not more help. But yeah, I don't do a whole lot to have any prevention. Our house is fairly new, so we don't have anything that I've seen to worry about as of right now. But I'm going to keep being vigilant and hopefully keep an eye on things. Good question, though. Let's see. Oh, this has a lot of questions, but I'll give it a go. Akasha over on Ravelry, who is Michelle from New Jersey, says, hi, love your show. I've been listening for ages. Actually listened in the Lime and Violet days and love that you started the video podcast. Good. Yay. Mine may not be an easy question, but I figured I'd toss it out there as I want to knit a sweater for myself and I have yet to finish an adult sweater. Do you have a favorite style of sweater? If so, what is it? Top-down, raglan, yoke, etc. Also, I also know you have made a lot of sweaters. Is it just experience on knowing what to tweak? I'm a plus-size woman, so half the challenge for me with patterns is finding one I like in my size, and I loathe the seaming, so I keep thinking seamless is the way to go, but with my size, I worry that I need more structure. Thanks for having the questions. I love hearing your answers. So, Michelle, favorite style of sweater? You know, I've done so many. I enjoy the ease of like top-down raglan. I don't like knitting it. I don't, but I do it because I like the whole, you go down and then by the time you're doing the sleeves, it's like the body gets done and it's like something that when you pull out, someone goes, oh, it's a sweater. I also like bottom-up sweaters kind of for the same thing that then have a circular yoke because you knit the body, you knit the sleeves, and yeah, you're just knitting giant tubes. But then you join it all together, and when people ask what you're knitting, you hold it up, and it's very obviously a sweater because you're working on just this part, and there's sleeves dangling off of it, and then you're not stranded on Sleeve Island for the last 2,000 months of your life because you hate knitting sleeves, as you have to keep flipping a huge sweater around. I have knit several sweaters in pieces. Also, not my favorite thing. It's like I get the pieces done, it's like, okay, I'm done. And then the pieces will sit there for months while waiting to be seamed. So I'm better at seamless. Experience on knowing what to tweak. So Ravelry, this is kind of combining with the next one. So you being plus size as well. The challenge for you is finding one you like in your size and loathing the seaming. Tin Can Knits has a great spread of sizes, and the thing that I've found that I really like to do, Ravelry, obviously you're on Ravelry because that's where you ask the question, is a great resource when you go to, you see a sweater you like on someone and go, ugh, they're not my size though. Go over and look at the pattern page, and there's a tab at the top that says blah 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 projects. It might be like 104 projects, it might be 9,000 projects. However many people have knit them and listed it on their project page, it's there. And then I'll go over to that a lot of times to see what it looks like on a person. So it's not just the pattern pictures. I don't know if like stylistically, especially in a book where it's like fashion pictures, where have they taken and like clothespinned behind where you can't see to give the sweater more shape, and then you see it on someone else and it's just this straight tube. There's no shaping to help give it so you don't look like a block, or so it's not just like hanging off your chest and making you look like you have a bigger tummy or something. So I'll go over and look at those projects and see what they look like on actual different people. All of us on Ravelry, we're all different sizes, we're all different shapes, and it's such a wonderful resource. That's why it's like, even if you make a sweater, make one. I've made some sweaters that look horrendous on me, and others that I love, like the hero sweater. But it's like I looked at other people's and went, oh yeah, I like that. And a lot of times people will put stuff down then if you see one you like, that's in the size that you like, look and see what their project notes are and save it. There's a way to save it. I can't remember off the top of my head right now because I haven't done it in a while. Save it, and like, I think on my hero sweater, rather than doing the ribbing at the bottom, I didn't want it to be sucking in and making kind of a pooch down around my tummy and hips. So I did that turned hem on it. I wish I had brought it down because I didn't look to see what the questions were. But I did that turned hem so it hung a little straighter down over my hips rather than sucking in. And that I got as an idea off of someone else's pattern page, their project page. They had done that on their sweater. I was like, that looks really cool. I like that. And then I remembered that, saved it. I think I favorited their project or something. And I was able to use that as a resource when I finally sat down and did my sweater. So I did it. I took bits and pieces of what had worked for other people and that I knew would work for me and just brought it all together. It's something that'll come with experience. I hate to tell you that, but try things. You're going to have to rip stuff out. It's the nature of the beast. You're going to do stuff and it's not going to work. And you go, ugh. I actually gave a whole sweater away. I had, it was back before Ravelry. I had done the Kyoto sweater from Knitty. I'd spent, I don't even know how much money on this yarn from the local yarn shop that I went to back in Omaha that's no longer open. And it was beautiful. It was purple for the OB sash part of it. I'd done this gorgeous green, and it was really beautiful. It did not look good on me. And I was so sad because I spent so much time, and it was a sweater in pieces, so I had to seam it. And finally, after years of it just living in my closet, I was like, I'm never going to wear this. So why? So kind of right before we moved out here, I went to the local Knitting Guilds group on Wednesdays at Whole Foods in Omaha and just brought bins of stuff. Yarn and fiber I didn't love anymore, just stash purge. And I included that sweater, and one of the girls was like, there's a sweater in here. Is this supposed to be in here? I was like, yeah, sure. And she tried it on. It looked fabulous on her, and I was like, take it. It's yours. And she's like, really? Really? You're giving this away? And she was so shocked, but it's one of those, it wasn't going to get love from me, so I let it go to someone else, even though I'd spent hours and hours and hours of my time on it. It was a learning experience. Someone else is enjoying it now. So, and I've done that before with different scarves and whatever. It's like I did it for I'm both a process and product knitter. I love both. I love the knitting and I love the finished item, but I've gotten to the point I have so much stuff that I tend to forget about it and not wear it. Like this just happened to be down here by the computer. This is my traveling woman shawl. Shawlette, whatever you want to call it. So hopefully that helps. It's more advice than anything. Find what works for you and embrace it and start tweaking from there. That's what I can tell you. So hopefully that helps. I let this one go a little long since it's been a couple weeks. Hopefully I can get back into the every week groove. And we'll leave it there. So until next week, everyone, happy knitting.